morning students. Today we will learn in business law essential elements of a valid contract. Means a contract which can be enforced in the court of law. What are the essential elements an agreement must have to make that agreement enforceable in the court of law in case there is any breach? So section 10 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 says all agreements will become contracts if provided they are made by free consent. Free consent means there is no pressure or there is no compulsion. The consent of the parties is mutual and they have given their consent without any pressure or force. Free consent of the parties. Parties means the parties who are entering into a contract. Consent must be free. Apart from that, who are competent to contract means the parties who enter into contract are competent or capable enough, like a citizen of India can vote only when he completes 18 years of age. That is his competency. So the parties must be competent to enter into contract and they must have a lawful object. The purpose of the contract must be lawful, must not be illegal. Apart from that, for a lawful consideration. What do you mean by the word consideration? Consideration means something in return of the promise. Something in return of the promise. You promise to do something. In return of that promise, what the other person is giving is known as consideration. Promise must be supported by consideration. Every promise must be supported by consideration. Something in return. So consideration. And they are not expressly declared void by the law of the country. Like a minor cannot enter into a contract. So agreement with a minor is expressly declared void. So in order to become a contract, an agreement must have the following essentials. Any agreement to become a contract must have 9 essential elements. Then only that agreement is eligible of becoming a contract. Here valid, the word valid means legally enforceable in the court of law. Void, void means unenforceable from the very beginning. Void means from the beginning. Like if you make a contract with a minor, it is void agreement. It cannot be enforced in the court of law. It is expressly declared to be void, unenforceable. Now, let's go through the first essential element, that is offer and acceptance. There are two parties, party A and party B. A making the offer, B accepting it. A is called the offerer and B is called the acceptor if he accepts A's proposal. But how the offer should be definite and certain. There must be definiteness and certainty in the offer. And acceptance must be absolute. Absolute means as it is. And unconditional. Unconditional means acceptance should not have any conditions. As the offer is, the acceptance must be done as it is. There should not be any conditions attached to the acceptance. Offer may have a number of conditions, but acceptance should not have any single condition. So, acceptance must be absolute, unconditional. Offer must be definite, certain. And acceptance also must be as per the mode prescribed and must be communicated to the offerer. That means if B is accepting A's offer, he must communicate his acceptance to A as well as he must communicate in the prescribed mode. Prescribed means He may say send a telegram, so he must send a telegram. If he says send a email, send a email. So whatever the mode prescribed by A, B must send it accordingly. So this is about offer and acceptance. Then next, intention to create legal relationship. Intention means what? What you are intending for. What is your real intention inside? Intention to create legal relationship means the parties to the contract must be intending to get into legal relationship. If there is no intention to get into legal relationship, then it is not called a contract. Like social or domestic nature agreements are out of the purview of law of contract. Commercial agreements, it is always presumed that there is an intention to get into legal relationship. So, intention to get into legal relationship, we have got two cases. One is Balfour versus Balfour related to social agreement. Rose and Frank Company versus Crompton Brothers is related to commercial agreement. So, let us go through Balfour versus Balfour case. Here, husband and wife living together, when the husband promises his wife that I will give you 30 pounds every month. Now, after some time, both of them live apart. Now, wife still wants to claim that 30 pounds from husband. Will she get? In this case, it is decided that wife cannot get that money because at the time when they entered into an agreement, there was no intention to create any legal relationship. That is why Mrs. Balfour failed to claim that money from Mr. Balfour. This is about social agreements. So, under social agreements, there is no intention to create any legal relationship. So, they are out of the purview of law of contract. Rose and Frank Company versus Crompton Brothers. Under this, here R is going to be the agent of C. Means Rose and Frank Company going to be the agent of C. This is what written in the agreement. It's a commercial agreement, but they have added one clause to that, that this agreement is not going to be a legal one. So this clause has been inserted by the parties that they don't want to get into legal relationship. That is why it is not enforceable. Otherwise, law will always presume in case of commercial agreements that there is an intention to create legal relationship. And if you want to review or if you want to remove that presumption, then you have to insert a clause in the agreement. And if that clause is inserted, like we don't want to get into legal relationship, then it is not a contract. Otherwise, all commercial agreements will become contracts. Next to that, lawful consideration. Now, consideration means, what do you mean by consideration? Something in return of the promise. That means every promise should be supported by consideration to become a contract. Or even you can say consideration as essence of bargain. Or even you can say something, some benefit or advantage also. How the consideration must be? It must be lawful. And consideration can be an act. Act means to do something. Abstinence means not to do something. Or it may be a return promise. Promise, exchange of promise. All the three things can be considered as consideration. It can be past, present or future. This is about consideration. Then let's go through the next. Capacity of the parties. Parties who are entering into contract A and B, they must be competent. Competent means they must have attained the age of majority. That is above 18. Sound mind. Sound mind means they are capable of understanding the terms of the contract. And they must not be disqualified from entering into contract. Suppose one of the parties is insolvent. What do you mean by the word insolvent? Assets are less, liabilities are more. He is declared as insolvent. Insolvents cannot enter into contract. So the parties must have, he must be measured, he must be of sound mind, and he should not be disqualified from contracting. Then only we can say that the parties are competent to enter into contract. If there is a flaw in competency, then the agreement cannot be enforced, or it can be declared as void. Next, free and genuine consent. Free and genuine consent of the parties is required in an agreement. When do you see that the free and genuine consent is there? When their minds match regarding the subject matter in the same sense at the same time, then we can say there is a free and genuine consent. So there must be matching of minds on all the material terms of the contract. If the consent is not free and genuine, then the consent may be induced either by coercion. Coercion means threat. Like A is threatening you at the point of gun and making you give all your property to you. So you are giving the consent, but your consent is induced by coercion. Coercion means threatening, physical threat. So coercion, undue influence, you are under pressure or of father or maybe some guru that you are giving all the property. So coercion, undue influence, misrepresentation. Somebody is like this table is not of teak wood, suppose. It is of teak wood, but if it is not of teak wood, but somebody says it is of teak wood, it is called misrepresentation, and sometimes there is a fraud. Then the consent is not free. So the consent should not be induced either by coercion or by undue influence or by misrepresentation or by fraud. Then we will say that the party's consent is free and genuine. Next, lawful object. Object or the purpose of the contract must be lawful, and it should not be illegal or immoral or opposed to public policy. That means illegal, it should not be. Immoral, immoral means harming the sentiments of the people. And next, opposed to public policy means it is damaging the public in some sense or the other. So the object must be lawful. Then agreement must not be declared void. Like what are the agreements? There are the list of agreements which are declared to be void. Expressly means from the very beginning they are void. For example, agreement with a minor is void ab initio. Ab initio means from the very beginning. The point of time when the agreement is made, it is void. Or promise without consideration is void from the very beginning. Such promises cannot be enforced in the court of law. Next, certainty and possibility of performance. First, let us go through certainty. Suppose you go to a edible oil shop and you ask for 5 liters of oil, but you are not specifying which oil you want. So there is no certainty and it will not become a contract. So you have to specify whether you want groundnut oil or you want palm oil. You have to specify which oil you want. If you are not specifying, there is no certainty. And whenever there is no certainty, it will not become a contract. In the same way, Scammell versus Austin, in this case, here A is promising to give a sell a motor van on hire purchase, and B is ready to purchase, and within 2 years the payment should be made. But they are not specifying about the terms of hire purchase. Hire purchase, whenever there is a sale on hire purchase, what are the things required? What terms should be clearly mentioned, like down payment, interest as well as installments. All these things are not specified, so there is no certainty, so there is no contract. In the same way, under section 56, possibility of performance. Suppose A promises to B that he will put life in the dead body of B's wife. It is impossible to do that. So anything which is not possible of performance can never become a contract. Next, legal formalities. In the eyes of law, every contract is enforceable whether it is written or through the mouth. If it is done orally through mouth. Means in the eyes of law, contract need not be always in writing. It can be oral or it can be oral. Both have equal importance and they can be enforced in the court of law. Now, but there are certain contracts which need to be written, and whenever it is written, it is easy to enforce. Certain contracts require, like sale of immovable property, there must be proper documentation, there must be, the witnesses must sign it, it must be registered, it must be stamped. All the statutory requirements, whatever are there, must be fulfilled before that contract to be enforced in the court of law. So wherever there are legal formalities which are must or statutory requirements, they must be completed, then only that agreement will become contract. These are the legal formalities which an agreement must have to become a valid contract.